Hello everyone, привет, здравствуйте. My name is Alex and it is my pleasure today to welcome you to the 5th episode of Learn Russian through song lyrics. Thank you for tuning in and also thank you for checking the previous episodes. We have over 2,000 views on the Cheburashka video and on the Kalinka video now, and that's quite amazing. We are very grateful for that. So with that preface, let's roll. Let's go to the next song. Поехали! So today's song is taken from a Prostokvashino cartoon series, which is based on the works of a prominent Soviet and Russian writer, Eduard Uspensky. Prostokvashino features a story of a young boy nicknamed Dядя Fyodor or Uncle Fyodor for his seriousness and self-reliance. Together with his new friends, a cat named Matroskin and a dog named Sharik, Uncle Fyodor settles in the village of Prostokvashino, where he meets some other characters, and along with them goes through a round of countryside adventures. Since the release of the first cartoon in 1978, Prostokvashino received several sequels, both in the Soviet Union and in Russia. The song that we're going to talk about today is taken from the 1984 episode called Winter in Prostokvashino. And as usual, there will be plenty of grammatical and vocabulary material for us to discuss. So, grammar and content-wise, our song focuses on what would happen if winter did not exist. Thus, we will hear a lot of conditionals, specifically for what are called second conditionals, a form that tells us what would happen if hypothetical and unlikely things were to come to pass. For variation, the song uses a lot of ways to make these. In particular, you will see a lot of rather poetic and vernacular form kaby, which you may be unfamiliar with. The key to it is quite simple. It's actually a fusion of two separate words, как, how, and бы, would. So the meaning behind it is something like, how would it be if, or simply if, and you can replace kaby with если бы without losing the meaning. On top of that, бы itself can also be reduced to just b, and you'll hear that in the song as well. And now, to use a conditional, if you've come to figure out these Russian words, you'll be able to understand this delightful song a little bit better. So let's jump to the first verse of the song, shall we?
Я же говорила, что просто не могу жить без нашего Простоквашино.
Кабы не было зимы в городах и селах, и никогда б не знали мы этих дней веселых, не кружила б малышня возле снежной бабы, не петляла бы лыжня, кабы, 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 не петляла бы лыжня, кабы, кабы, кабы.
The verse opens with the following phrase. «Кабы не было зимы в городах и селах, никогда б не знали мы этих дней веселых». Let's talk about the separate words first, and then about the whole structure. «Кабы не было зимы», as we already know, stands for if there was no winter. «Было» is a past form of быть, to be, and «зима» is winter. В городах и селах is a prepositional case of two words, города, plural, cities, and села, also plural, villages. Their singular forms are город and село. So, в городах и селах, in cities and villages. Никогда, we're moving forward, никогда is never, the opposite of всегда, always. A short b comes from бы, a particle that we already know. Знали is a past plural form of to know, знать, and then мы is a pronoun we, first person plural. If you checked our previous video about Ivan Vasilievich, you might know that этих is these ones closer to me, as opposed to тех, those ones further away from me. Дней is a plural of день. And lastly, веселых is cheerful, and since we match it with the word days, the adjective is also used in the genitive case here. Having looked at the words, let's analyze the grammar construction too. Here I'd like to share a quick story. Back when I was studying English, one of the things that I learned is that in the language, among many other things, there are different types of conditional sentences. For example, what was called the first or real conditional looks like this. If you choose to go to the store, I'll join you. So something that can actually happen, and I'm sure happens regularly on a daily basis. The second conditional, however, is somewhat different. For example, if I was a bird, I would have wings. Now, the second conditional describes a hypothetical or improbable situation in the present. And what we have in the song is very, very similar to that. If there was no winter, we would never know these cheerful days. Если бы не было зимы, мы бы не знали этих веселых дней. The only difference here is that in Russian, we use past verbal forms in both parts of the sentence, while in English the if part is in the past and then the result is actually in the present. Other than that, the meaning is pretty much similar. Once you get a grasp of the structure, it gets much easier to understand the song as it repeats itself over and over again. To get some practice, let's move to the next example and see what it looks like.
Не кружила б малышня возле снежной бабы, не петляла бы лыжня, кабы, 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 не петляла бы лыжня, кабы, кабы, кабы.
Here, two more consequences of not having winters are discussed. The first one has to do with the kids, малышня, playing around the snowman. Малышня in this phrase is a blanket name coming from the word малыш, a small kid, and meaning multiple kids. The word кружить stems from круг, a circle, and literally means to move around something or to move in circles depending on the context. Возле translates as near, and снежная баба, although grammatically feminine, actually signifies a person or a figure, I should say, made of snow. And we actually have a masculine word for that as well. That would be снеговик, and that's a direct correlation of the English snowman. Thus, if there was no winter, the kids would not play around the snowman. Now on to «Не петляла бы лыжня». Maintaining the spirit of the song, the author talks about popular winter activity, skiing, and лыжня, therefore, is a ski track that is left behind you when you're skiing, катаешься на лыжах. And, петлять, in this case, has to do with the weaving nature of your movement. There you go. Taken together, it means no winter, no weaving ski tracks left in the snow behind you. This, along with the repetition of the word кабы, concludes the first verse of the song. And after a quick bridge, we are taken to the second one. Let's break it down as well to see what kind of secrets it may hold.
Кабы не было зимы, а все время лето, мы бы не знали кутерьмы новогодней этой. Не спешил бы Дед Мороз к нам через ухабы, лед на речке бы не замерз, кабы, 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 лед на речке бы не замерз, кабы, кабы, кабы. Кабы не было зимы в городах веселых, никогда б не знали вы этих дней веселых.
The second verse opens with an already familiar phrase «Кабы не было зимы», which is followed by a new one «А все время лето». You may already know that in Russian, the juxtaposition is very often expressed with the help of a word «но», but. However, another conjunction, «а», can also be seen in this role very, very often, and this is happening here as well. Всё время means all the time. Both words are in neutral gender, singular, and лето is another season. This time it's summer. By the way, the two other seasons that we haven't mentioned yet are spring, весна, and fall, осень. Do you have a favorite season where you live? Let us know in the comments. So what would happen if there was no winter but only summer all the time? Obviously, all winter holidays would be lost, and along with them, the beloved New Year would be gone too. We already know that «мы бы не знали» means we would not know. So the focus of our attention now should be on the words «новогодняя кутерьма». To my mind, the closest possible translation here might be something like the New Year commotion, or perhaps the New Year bustle, so basically the time right before the holiday when people are running around, preparing the presents, holiday wishes, meals, and so on. And I need to mention here, for the cultural context, that in Russia, the significance of New Year is overshadowing the scale and significance of Christmas, so basically that makes the holiday the biggest holiday of the calendar year. And logically, not having New Year would mean not having Ded Moroz, or Grandfather Frost, who brings Russian children their long-awaited presents. The line «Не спешил бы Дед Мороз к нам через ухабы» talks just about that, highlighting the fact that Ded Moroz would not be hurrying to us, спешить is to be in a hurry, and that his way would not go through pits and bumps. The word for that in Russian is ухабы. The verse is finalized with the phrase «лед на речке б не замерз», which simply takes us to the topic of weather, because лед is ice, and then замерзать is to freeze or to freeze over. So the ice would not freeze over on a small river, речка, nearby. The song then ends with a repetition of the first 4 lines that we already had a look at before. So at this point, let's listen to the whole thing together and see if we understand the song maybe a little bit better this time.
Кабы не было зимы в городах и селах, и никогда б не знали мы этих дней веселых, не кружила б малышня возле снежной бабы, не петляла бы лыжня. Кабы, 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 не петляла бы лыжня. Кабы, кабы, кабы. Кабы не было зимы, а все время лето, мы бы не знали кутерьмы новогодней этой. Не спешил бы Дед Мороз к нам через ухабы, лед на речке бы не замерз. Кабы, 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 лед на речке бы не замерз. Кабы, кабы, кабы. Кабы не было зимы в городах веселых, и никогда б не знали вы этих дней веселых.
So how was it? I hope your understanding improved. That's actually going to be it for today. Once again, thank you for watching. Don't forget that you can always find the new vocabulary on our Quizlet profile. Links are down below. And also, don't forget to check out our programs and social media for more fun and educational study abroad activities. Have a great day ahead, and I'll see you in the next video.